Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fireside chat from data pain to AI outcomes, a practical path for financial institutions. I'm Zehra Cataltepe, the CEO and co-founder of TAZI.AI, and today I'm joined by Stephanie Hanson, the CEO of Gestalt Tech. Stephanie, before we start, may I ask you to introduce yourself, please? And thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And yeah, my name is Stephanie Hanson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gestalt. I've spent my entire career in financial services, initially working inside financial services companies, and then going on to start a SaaS fintech company that served financial services. And now here at Gestalt, we are solving the data pain and data problems for financial services so they can actually use their data, use AI, and keep moving themselves forward.
Lovely. I mean, as an AI company, we found out that even with the agents now, data is always a bottleneck. So
It is.
I found out that really describing what we are solving
Mhm.
actually to be really valuable. So before we start talking about tools, I want to first ask, what is the first business problem a credit union should solve with data and AI? And what does success look like in 90 days?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say the first problem that any credit union, bank, specialty finance, any of them should solve really depends on the organization. Of course, the answer is depends, right? Um, uh, but if you first would determine the business problem that data would solve, just one, pick one, any particular use case, it doesn't even have to be the biggest one. That helps create the momentum. So I would say it's similar to going to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, it does nothing. If you show up and you do one squat, it's not going to do anything. But if you just show up and get a little workout going, doesn't have to be the best thing. It starts to, build that momentum. So for most credit unions and financial services companies, I would say it's typically one of three things. Maybe they can't see member or customer attrition until after it's already happened. So maybe it's they're doing a like huge percent of their reporting manually every month. Or a third pretty common thing is that they have no early signal on loan performance risk. So typically, one of those three things, but it could be anything. I think automating reports and getting rid of manual work tends to be the low-hanging fruit that everybody looks at. But it could also be solving one of those big problems like attrition or performance. So that's kind of the starting point, I would say. And then success at 90 days, as we all know, isn't just I'm done, everything's perfect, move on for any of us, right? Even inside our own companies, that's not what it is. But it does look like that one team is getting an answer that they couldn't get before. They're able to make decisions faster. They're able to spend less time working manually. So it could be a loan officer that sees a risk flag before approving it. Maybe it's the CFO that now doesn't have to spend 2 days preparing for a board report, et cetera. So I think that's really critical is figuring out that business case, solving for it, getting the momentum and the excitement going. That's kind of like even inside our own fintech companies, right? We see one person using AI to build processes, or one of our team members got so excited by it, she built like an executive admin to sit with her. And so it's like watching and then building on that momentum for sure.
I am seeing these terms like data warehouse, data mart, data lake.
Yeah,
These terms, you know, they sometimes can be really like even blockers in terms of how you define success and progress.
yeah,
Could you define these
yeah.
in simple language and when each of these approaches would be useful for a financial institution?
Sure, sure. Yeah, so I think of a data warehouse like as fully organized, clean, ready for the business. So they don't have to like write a bunch of formulas to get to their answers. They don't have two people getting different answers. It's like nice and clean. And so I I don't know if this resonates with anybody else, but I think of it as like a well-organized closet, like a California closet, not just with the cool organizational stuff, but with everything in its place, right? And no dust on the shelves too. But with anything in its place, so that if I told my husband, my mom, or a 4-year-old to go pick out a beach dress for me, they wouldn't be going between different sections. They just know directly where to go. And then I think of a data mart as like a smaller version of that. So maybe just the t-shirt section of my closet or the beach dress section of my closet. So that might be scoped to just one team, one question. Maybe it's just the lending data. Maybe it's just the member 360 view. That obviously faster and easier to build. Like if I just said, go organize my t-shirts, that's faster than, organize and build my entire closet out. So just a slice. So data warehouse, the full thing, data mart, a slice of it. And then data lake would be where all that raw data lives before it's cleaned and shaped. So maybe that's a huge pile of laundry before you put it in your closet and organize it, right? Quick for storage. All I have to do is throw it in the pile. Terrible if you're asking your husband or your mom or a 4-year-old to go find you a beach dress because they're flipping through trying to find it, and two different people could go in there and find different things. So yeah, so I think those are kind of the way I think of it.
I mean, I am seeing like some financial institutions like getting stuck, for example, in building their data warehouse for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
What do you see banks get wrong when they pick one of these choices?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really wrong. It's just about how they're going to leverage it. So, are you going to build a large team? Are you going to hire consultants? Are you going to use an accelerator to get it going? And then I think maybe the biggest, not wrong, but misunderstanding people have is that if they hire data engineers or data analysts, that they're actually analyzing the data. And you can see the stats all over the internet. 80+% of data engineers and data analysts' time is organizing the data. So if you think about that, that's like, I mean, that's a huge part of their day. And they're very smart people. They should be analyzing it and coming up with business solutions. And so I think maybe not wrong, but I think that misunderstanding. And so rather than go, obviously I believe in the accelerators, things that help you get started, something with a data model ready, with the data mapping ready, so that then your team can just go and leverage it.
Like,
Yeah.
what is that minimum viable data from your perspective?
Yeah, so my opinion would be that all the key raw data from the sources that you need is there. So it's there, right? It's in the piles. But then anything that you need for that first use case is rolled up into the key metrics and numbers to drive your answers. So you take what you need out of there, you pull it into your key metrics and numbers, and model those out for that use case. And then you move to the next use case and the next one. But that helps so that you don't have to redo that work of the pulling in, right?
Mhm,
That's done
mhm,
one time, and then you build from there. Good,
mhm, mhm,
good
mhm.
point.
Yeah, I just want to share something. Like I was really
Yeah.
excited when I realized this. With the agents, picture
Uh-huh.
is changing a little bit. I mean, in the old times we used to create data sets and look at the accuracy, etc. And then with the agents, um, we started thinking about what kind of questions need to be answered based on the models built on this data. And
Yeah.
some questions create great value if you answer them correctly. And then one of the things that we found out was, um, if like for some questions, you might actually build a successful model, but to take actions based on that model, you need to have other data
Right.
that
Right.
makes the model actionable. So I found that an iterative approach where you involve the end users more,
Yeah.
and really ask them like what do you need to answer, how accurate, when, and then
Right.
go back to the data and obtain the like make that minimum viable data more applicable for actions. I found that to be a new approach in my life, and I found it to be quite exciting.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Things have changed so much. I mean, it was never driven by the business question. It was just like you just always have this model, right? And you're
yeah.
updating it. And
Mhm.
now so much we can do for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Um, Another question is the data quality and governance. I mean, like this just comes up all the time. I mean,
Yep, yep, yep,
whether you are in rule-based systems, machine learning models, or agentic systems, data quality and governance are always
yep.
important. And I found that especially in financial institutions, enterprise, these really are the places where the projects fail. You might build something but you
Yeah.
cannot really take it into production because you are failing in data quality or governance. So what are the non-negotiables and what are the like lightweight items to complete at the beginning when
Yeah.
it comes to data quality and governance?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think from top down, you have to be very clear, this is our single source of truth. If you don't, if that's like a non-negotiable. The companies that we see do well say this is our single source of truth. This is what we're using. Anything outside of it needs to come inside of it, right? And we can't be getting data from multiple places. So I think leadership has to set that culture is our single source of truth for whatever it is, members, loans, accounts, etc. Not three different people pulling the definition of active member from three different places, etc. So just that will relieve a lot of tension. I guess maybe even if you all have the wrong number, it's better that everybody agrees on the number than having three different answers, and that's hopefully not the case. But so yeah, so that one definition, that one place, and then the second thing I would say is a non-negotiable. You need to have your point in time snapshots. So you need to be able to answer what did this loan look like 90 days ago, for instance. If not, then you're not in a good place. And we see lots of warehouses built with like current status or end of day only or end of month only type of thing. And so you need to be able to go back and replay that. So, um, uh, and obviously all the normal, PII has to be handled correctly, etc. But as far as what could be lightweight, that's tricky because ideally you need to have all of it, even on a smaller data set from a compliance, perspective. So I would probably say still you could pull in all the data. You're working with that one use case or that smaller data set. But within that smaller data set, I would say you still need your full data lineage, data dictionary, et cetera. I think that's different than the way most people build. I think what most people build is I'm going to get all my data into my use cases done, and then I'm going to come back in with things like a data dictionary. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been in a call when somebody on the other side said, "Oh, we have a great data dictionary," right? And so data dictionary, data lineage tend to be thought of as nice to haves when building, when really that is the critical component. And so if you're going to wait a year after the project, 2 years after the project to build them, you're just already in trouble. So governance, I think, easy enough to set up. It's just about who can do what with what data when, who can access the PII, who can't access the PII, et cetera. Fairly straightforward, but should be set up from the beginning, no matter how little data you're focusing on. And then data quality that you noted would be, is it correct? Is it complete? Is it consistent, et cetera? Um, so that, of course, you've got to understand your data. You've got to have that lineage, that dictionary. If you don't know where the piece of data came from, then when you get audited, you're it's constantly trying to find it. And I would say the third thing in financial services would be that data integrity part, which is like, can you defend this number in an exam? So, governance, quality, and then integrity. And so I think most institutions spend a lot of manual hours on this. Um, and then as you were talking about the move to AI agents, uh, it's crazy because it's always been important to have good, clean data, but now the stakes are even higher because if you've got bad data, before you were just going to have a wrong report, maybe a bad decision. But in the agentic world, the stakes are the agent reads it wrong, makes a decision, triggers a downstream action like nobody knows, right? That whole feedback loop is completely gone. So yeah, so I think the key thing, the short answer to your question is start with all the governance components just on the smaller set of your data.
Mhm, mhm. Lovely. I mean, one of the things that I just love like that single source of truth and history snapshots. These are most of the time where we fall into trouble with our customers initially. And I mean, as humans, when we take actions,
Right.
we might be looking at, the velocity of certain signals, like 6 months average, 3 months average, etc. You know, uh, but then as a human we already have a model in our head, so with that model we can take actions,
Yeah.
but when we need to train a machine learning model, or when we
Yeah.
need to fine tune an agent, we need to
Right.
tell that agent, look, this is what happened six
Right.
months last month, the month before, the
Yep.
month before, like life was like this. Like you have to keep snapshots, accurate snapshots, not just
Right.
what happens right now. But if you have already built a system,
Yeah.
then of course, like having just now is okay. But to build the system, you have to have historical data to really teach
Right.
both the machine learning models and agents as well.
Right.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
and if
much. I
you
really
think about
appreciate.
leverage, right, sorry to cut you off, but if you think about leveraging vendors like Tazi, you can't do that without your data. And I'm sure you guys have had the same problem that I've seen in market for many, many years, which is you have a financial services organization, and maybe there's three different partners that they want to work with, but before they can work with them, they need to send them their data. And so
Yeah,
this becomes an internal, pain point to find and pull all that data and send it. And so
yeah,
it actually slows down progress,
yeah,
because what if that same financial institution could have quickly sent the data to those three, same day, quickly sent the data to those three, got the responses back and said, oh, these two actually can't help us, but this one can. Okay, let's go. But
yeah.
that process can take a year, right? But 6 months is normal, but it can take a year. And so yeah, the financial institutions aren't able to take advantage of the products and the things in market. They aren't able to help their business move forward, all because of just the data component of it.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Thank you so much. I want to like slowly wrap up uh, all of these insights that you shared so far. Would you be able to give people a practical sequence? What is a step-by-step approach a bank or a credit union can follow from data pain to repeatable analytics and AI outcomes, return investment.
Yeah.
But what are the steps again?
Yeah. Pick one use case, one KPI, one whatever it is, but pick one thing, likelihood to churn, retention rate, uh, bad rate, etc. For that 90 days, focus on being methodical about all the things that need to be done right to answer that question. So don't just slap it together. It's not a manual process. Make sure to have all the data governance, the clean data, all the data pulled in there, and solve that one question. So one use case, one KPI, but do it properly. Um, Identify the data you really need. Don't spend your time writing definitions and different things for things that don't have anything to do with that use case. Um, get all that data into the data warehouse, like I said, with the quality components, the governance components, etc. Run that model and start using it, right? So if you have a churn model, could be with you guys, could be another vendor, could be something they've built. To your point earlier, the output is not a report. It's what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that model? So, hey, we're able to solve likelihood to churn. That doesn't mean anything. We're able to solve likelihood to churn, and this list of customers or members who are likely to churn are actually pushed into our CRM or to our customer service process, so that somebody can call them. So if they call in, they're treated differently. Like do something with it, not just know the outcome. And then, yeah, and then be excited that you solved that and move to the next thing. And now that you've got that foundation built, you can move faster and faster, and you can start to do two, three, five, 10 things at once instead of just one at a time. But I would say if you spent more than 60 days building your infrastructure, nobody has seen a result, then you probably need to stop and reevaluate. And we talk with credit unions and financial services often that they're a year into the project and the business still isn't using anything. And in fact, as we're building, we have to think about that too, because we'll typically build bringing all the data in to prepare it and get it ready. And even we, when we're working with our customers, have to think, how can we get them to a use case faster, right?
I love that, like step by step, process, and also leaving business out is really not affordable anymore because
Right,
you really have to take actions, and you will essentially be building the wrong thing
right,
inevitably if
right.
they are not at the table
Right,
continuously.
right.
So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think we'll move in this environment, this AI environment, we'll move from companies saying, hey, I need a data warehouse for everything to I still need a data warehouse for these use cases, and then they'll build on that.
So thank you so much, Stephanie, for all of these insights. It's so great learning from you and with you. No, everything starts with one step, right?
Right.
So what is, of course, I mean, like the gym example, or just, just taking a step outside, and taking
Yeah.
that walk,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that you are closer to your target. Uh,
Yeah.
so, so what is one next step
All
people
right.
can do next week,
All right.
so
I would
that
say,
they
yeah, yeah, yeah.
can go
Move
from
forward.
data pain to AI outcomes?
Yeah. Pick the one leader in your organization that is forward thinking and not stuck in how we do it today. Get that person in a room and say, what is a question you need an answer to? And then go from there.